Hello dear students, welcome to Allen Overseas. I hope your JEE Mains results have been out and you have done really wonders according to your capability. So here I am bringing you the physics paper analysis from JEE Mains first attempt. That was conducted in the last week of January and on the 1st February as well. So starting with the topics as I am mentioning over here, students, you can see. Starting with the UND. So starting from UND in the complete mechanics, the weightage was average. It was not a very many number of questions have been asked, but the weightage was average, and in some chapter that was below average as well. If I give the example of vectors 1D, 2D, relative motion, NLM, so number of questions you can see that out of 12 papers, because paper was conducted in 6 days and 12 papers were there in morning evening shift totally. So like 11 questions, 3 questions, 9, 6, 1, 6, 6, 10. So averagely you can say less than 1 questions have been asked from these chapters generally. But if we proceed further to center mass and rigid body, the number of questions have to be increased because they are the lengthy chapters also. So that was quite not many. Yes, it's also the average one. But if I proceed with SHM, almost 13 questions they have asked in SHM. So in rigid body also, in SHM also they have asked 13. So in the mechanics part till rigid body, not many questions they have asked. But if you just enter in the SHM, so almost 13 questions in 12 papers, averagely 1 question, 1 paper. But if I again enter to the waves part, and if you have been following our guidance sessions in the last session, as I told you that in the waves, the weightage will not be very, not many questions will be asked and the weightage will be below average for this one. But if I again enter for the sound and fluid and surface tension, viscosity, especially the fluid and surface tension till viscosity part, you can see that 2, 5 and 2, not many questions again. So the weightage for the mechanics over here and the waves, that is if I see for 11th perspective, almost 40% questions in the papers were asked, almost 40% from the 11th part, and rest almost 55 to 60% they have asked from 12th. So this was the 11th part, most of the chapters as I mentioned, and you can also see that per chapter wise the weightage was not below, was not average or above average, it was below average people. Now if I again see, this was the 11th part. So as I mentioned, if you have heard me very carefully, that KTG thermodynamics was one of the favorite chapter for the JEE, and you can see the number of questions they have asked, that is the 24. So almost averagely you can see that's the 2 questions per paper they have asked. So KT thermo, not in physics but also in chemistry also they would have asked some questions. So that is always the one of the favorite chapters of JEE Mains from the JEE Mains point of view. So calorimetry, thermal expansion, conduction, radiation. And again you can see not many questions, 3 and 1 and 2 questions have been asked from these. But again you see people errors and measurement. If you have really heard me that in the previous sessions, as I told you, this chapter is favorite for JEE Advanced. That's why again the very few number of questions. Also these chapters are also very favorite for JEE Advanced. So not many questions they have asked from that. So let's proceed with the next one, that is again gravitation electrostatic. Like similar concepts, 17 questions almost they have asked, you can see people. So averagely more than 1 question they have asked from the gravitation electrostatic. Electrostatic is a lengthy one, but from the gravitation also people, you can see 17. So the concept wise they are very similar. So tentatively 34 questions in 12 papers they have asked. So averagely 3 questions, a little less than 3 questions per paper they have asked from that. Then again, the most important topic and the most important part in this JEE Mains was, as always, the electrodynamics. So starting from again electrodynamics, starting from electrostatics, going to current, capacitor, magnetism, EMI, AC and EM waves. So can you see how many questions, guys? 17, 25, 7, 21, 15 and 12. So these many questions they have asked just from electrodynamics. As always, it is the favorite portion for JEE Mains, and not just JEE Mains, JEE Advanced also. But one more chapter which I always emphasize, but it is more emphasized for JEE Advanced than Mains. Then you can see the number of questions are not many, almost 12 questions in geometrical optics, although it's a little lengthy chapter but an easy one. So averagely 1 question per paper they have asked, not many, but if you again see the same kind of criteria for JEE Advanced, the number of questions will become twice or maybe thrice sometimes. And again wave optics, almost 6 to 7 questions they have asked over here. So if you have really read these all analysis, you would have seen that most of the focus of JEE Mains was this year, as always they put up every year, was on electrodynamics, guys. So again, these are some parts of the last of the wave optics, starting from diffraction, polarization, not many, 1 and 5. And again, that's starting with the modern physics, atomic matter waves, photoelectric, X-ray in the nuclear one. And you can see that that's the number of questions they have asked, starting from 9, 6, 5 and 0. Guys. So nuclear one definitely 12. So nuclear is again the one of the favorite topics. So you can see that modern physics is always emphasized not for mains as well as for advanced, and you can see these are just for physics point of view. Similar thing they would have asked in chemistry, guys. So not I can say that it's average, a little above average for here. So after the electrodynamics, the next important part they have actually taken over here was the modern physics. Then again, semiconductor communication, only JEE Mains kind of topics, and almost 111 questions, and they were NCERT based, guys. So if you have already read and done the questions of NCERT back exercise example problems, you would have done all the questions. Like almost one question every paper they have asked over here from semiconductor and communication system. So this was the topic wise weightage and in which shift they have asked which question this was. So let's proceed with next kind of criteria that we have. The topic wise, it means wholesale if you just take out the mechanics, electrodynamics simply. So from mechanics, you can see total 65 questions they have asked. So out of 12 papers, total 65 questions have been asked from mechanics. SMHM in waves 19, properties of matter 51 guys, gravitation 17, electromagnetism again. Can you see guys, electromagnetism, as I was saying, electrodynamics, 110 questions. So if you combine even the top 3 or top 4 one, almost that is again the weightage even singly for electromagnetism guys. So it is again, and one thing you just note guys, like whatever happened in first attempt or the JEE is what pattern they have fixed for first attempt, that's again the very similar thing they always do for second attempt. That's not the quite difference. If you really see the past papers yourself of 5-6 years, so the first attempt or second attempt what they give, the kind of papers they set, the kind of pattern they follow is quite very similar, not very different. And this year one thing more happened that last year many questions were from from outside of the NCERT. So they have mixed even many concepts last year, but this year they have done it very simply that most of the questions they have asked, most of the portion they have covered was simply the NCERT based guys. Okay, and again modern physics 32, I can say average, not above that. And other topics like UND, vectors and JEE specific topics again 17 and 24. So if you have even concentrated your full energy for electrodynamics, I think so you're more than prepared for the physics as well. So this is to just show you what we repeat always guys. So again, if I just again say 11th and 12th weightage, so can I see that 169 questions they have asked from 11th, that is 40 to 45, and 12th, how many? 191 guys. So totally combined 360 questions have been asked, 30 questions like each paper. So again 12th point of, but I'm not saying that always it happens. This year 12th weightage was a little bit more due to the electrodynamics of course, and 11th weightage was a little less, 30-40 questions less. So this was the easy, moderate and tough. 15 to 20% questions were tough, I say so. Almost 45% questions were easy, that you can see 158 out of total 360 were easy. Easy means below average. It means if you have even read the NCERT ones guys, you would have done that. Okay, so questions like what is the kinetic energy if the momentum is given? So the formula for kinetic energy momentum, that is momentum equals root 2 mk. Even a 6th class student can do that nowadays. So that was the category of the easy one. So even you concentrate your energy on the easy and moderate, as we always say, you would have cracked the JEE with the very good marks guys. Of course, tough will always be there, but the number of questions were not very huge. Almost 15 to 80% were the tough questions and rest were the moderate. So this was the thing to show you that you have it in it to you, but you have to read the NCERT properly. You have to do the exercises as being told by the teachers guys. The next thing was direct answer type questions. If you can see, they have not asked many numericals because that's the JEE Mains. They will require you to do some calculations. That's why the maximum number of questions were calculated. That is, you can see 23, 16, 25 and so on. So these many questions, direct questions were last session of 21st, you can see 7, then 6 and 6, 5, 5 and going like averagely direct questions have been not many, but combined like calculation based questions were quite many guys. So if you have not done calculation practice, then definitely you're gonna suffer in your JEE Mains exam. Not just this one, even in the next attempt as well. And multiple topic combined, like if they put multi-topic, it means in a single question they mix the concepts. That's the thing of JEE Advanced. But that's the thing they sometimes do in JEE Mains, one time. Okay, one questions or two questions, but they are not many. So what this is showing us, if we have not really aced the calculations guys, that's gonna be problematic for you in the next attempt as well. And that's gonna be problematic for you even in JEE Advanced guys. That was for all. For us, I hope all of you that have seen this session guys, and you have known where you were lacking. So whatever you have actually done in the first attempt, you have done really wonders also, but whatever the things, whatever the shortcomings you face in the first attempt, I hope so this session and the clarification you got after this session will be helping you to score really well in your second attempt also. So we'll be in contact. If you will be having any query, if you have any query, just post it a comment in the YouTube and we'll be getting back to you within 24 hours. That's from my side students. Going to see you very soon. Bye-bye.